Gee, you know, he just holds his head down, doesn't he?
Yeah,
soft.
look at him.
He's super, super soft. And not once have I driven him into the bridle. Like I do a lot of bending and encourage him to be low, but I haven't actually. That's him. He's just super. Like he's rubbed in the mouth because he did fight my hand a bit.
Yeah.
But first thing I do is hop on him and I take my hand to my hip. But sometimes you'll get on him and he'll move around while you do this.
Yeah.
He's in a good frame today. The moment I turn my shoulders at his hip, I want his inside hind foot to track away and underneath him. And I just wait for him to move just hind foot. I want his hind end to do more than his front end.
Yeah.
I don't do anything with the outside rein on him there. But then I'm going to bring my hand out in front of his shoulders to bring his shoulder so I can control his hind end and his front end. Also I can control the outside hind foot if I take my hand. Anything I do in front of the saddle for front end control. So if I bring my hand out in front of his shoulders here, I don't go past the knee pad. He'll bring his shoulders. If I take my hand to his other shoulder, he should take his shoulders away. And so now he's as soft as this. I need to ride him with my shoulders. If I pick up on his face and bend him to the left to take my shoulders forward, he'll continue to go straight. So when you ride him, you've got to ride him through your shoulders. If I ride him here and make my arm straight to turn him, I can control his shoulders anywhere. But if you ride him along and pick up on his face like this and go past the knee pad, he's going to move his hind end out of the way. And that's exactly what I want him to do, so I can take his hind end away for side pass and that kind of
And you're just squeezing with your inside?
I do, but it's pretty much just energy. Like I'm going to ask him to move his hind end there and there's no leg. And yet he should move his hind end there. I put leg on, but I want to get to where it's a thought. I ride him down into a stop here. I'm not going to put any leg on him to back up, but I'm just going to ride back with my body. I wish you were a millionaire so you could leave him with me for 6 months. You wouldn't get him back. But now wherever I point my shoulders, he's going to take you. He's just a beauty. So when I do climb on him, so I can work the whips and that with him and he'll stand still. Like the likes of that paint mare and that little taffy fella and my dun horses, you have to do a lot more with them because they're a little frightened. So this bloke here is just a beauty. Yesterday when he stopped, he wanted to go forward again. So what I did was stop him, bend him to my knee and ask his hind end to travel away and then bring his shoulders around, and he should stand, when I release him out of there, he should stand still. And so I don't want him to move forward until I ask him. So when you climbed that little boat the other day and you rode him straight forward, because you didn't nominate a leg, he wasn't real confident. So now I'm going to ask his inside front foot to step off and to nominate a leg forward. And that way he doesn't have to think about things as much. I'm actually asking him. How you going, young Greg? This is the fella, is it? You're a pretty little horse, isn't he?
Yeah, nigger.
Nigger. That's a nice name. So here I'm only using inside leg to take him forward. It's the same as on the ground. All leg does is create energy. The moment I take my hand out in front of his shoulder, I want him to bring his shoulders. Ian's going to love this horse. But if I'm riding him past mares or anything, I'd pick up his face to the right and ride his shoulders forward so you can't see them.
So you, right.
I can just hold my right rein here. As long as my right hand points towards the shoulder, wherever my hand points to, I want him to go. So if I point my right hand to across his shoulders here, he should take his shoulders left. If I take that hand and point it out to the right, he should bring his shoulders right. So I've got really there's only 3 rein cues that you have to worry about. And the first rein cue is to your hip, to control his hip. If I don't ask him to move, he shouldn't, I'll just wait.
You just hold it there till he'll stop.
Just hold till he pulls up. Sometimes I might pick up on the outside rein. You watch here when I pick up on the brake rein, which is the outside one, the hip will stop tracking away and start to back around. I ask him to do that before I do a roll back. I'm going to wait till if I put spurring in there, he's only going to go backwards and silly more.
Yeah.
You've got to remember, as I was saying to you, Greg, you've got to remember that whatever you put leg on, you're going to speed up that motion.
Yeah.
If he's running backwards, you go to kick him forwards, you're sending him backwards more.
Yeah.
So if he's running sideways, there's no good kicking him in the outside leg. You've got to stop the motion and then ride forward. So here I'm going to ask the hind.
So to stop the motion, you just
quit riding on him, wait till he pulls up. If he was to be running off to the right, instead of kicking him with my outside spur, I'd wait till his inside front foot lifted off the ground and step it across.
Yeah.
Same as if you're walking. If you're walking along and I push you on the right shoulder when you're standing on this left leg, you won't go anywhere. Whereas if I wait till you lift your left front foot up, so when I ride him in a circle here, his front foot's lifting now, so I can pick up and ask him to thrust when that front foot's off the ground.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as I said, the three main cues is to your hip to move his. The moment I turn my shoulders at his hip, and I do this on horses to stop them, to not allow them to buck. They can't buck, kick, jump or rear while that hind end's moving.
Yeah.
I'm doing this on him now for performance because he doesn't have any nastiness in him. But so my hip to move his hip, out in front of his shoulders to move his shoulders, and back towards his shoulders to move his shoulders the other way. The only other cue I'd put on would be to hold that hip in place. You normally wouldn't get that till probably 3 or 4 weeks on a track, but he's pretty neat.
So to get him going sideways, you're not putting any leg on him?
I do if I don't get motion, but here, while my leg is sitting there, I'm putting leg on there.
Yeah.
But as I say, if I could look at that bucket and you could go over and get it without me speaking, I wouldn't speak, you know. It's the same with him. So I'm going to focus over here. I put leg on there, no leg there.
Yeah.
So I want to get to where I don't, like, eventually I would ask him to back with leg, but why back with leg when he backs like that with nothing?
Yeah.
Then you've got to remember to stop riding him though, because that's the biggest problem if you didn't know what you were doing on him, is that he would back or side pass or go wherever you went if you're looking there. Come out on the flat and I'll close your beard. I'll run him down past this gelding. Find he wants to drift, I just turn my shoulders out more and bring that hand in wider. I do a lot of tight circles and big circles. I don't try and run perfect 20-metre circles on him. If I can push him out of the circle like this and then bring him in, eventually I can run him on a perfect circle.
So you're just using the shoulders to bring him in or out?
When my shoulders turn too, my outside leg naturally comes on now.
Yeah.
Just by turning my shoulders, it puts you in that position. But you watch if I ride him along and just pull my hand in here. The moment I get past the front of my saddle, I'm into hind end control. So I keep everything in front of my saddle. I'm riding pretty much with a straight arm. So to stop him, it's my body that stops him. If I want him to speed up, I'll put inside leg on and drive inside hind foot forward. If I want him to slow down, I pick up inside rein a little and sit up on him.
No, it does say record, so.
Most young horses, you start rolling over their hocks, you get 2 good clean ones we can canter out, and then you've got to step them, you've got to go and control them again because they jump out funny. That Hollywood fella of Greg and Leone's was the same, like these pretty neat horses, a pair of them. See when I rode him up there and said just kicking him forward, I sent him sideways a step and then rode off.
Oh yeah.
So I'm telling him to take 1 foot up at a time, so then I'm not having to ride him, trying to pull him up all the time. You're going to have to, when you ride him, if you ride him before you send him to in, you're going to have to feed him a little more rein, because just the weight of him there will have him collect.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, yours is like that, isn't it? Yeah. The rein.
This is the sort of stuff Ian will be doing a lot with him. And I've got him taking him now and keep his nose right and take his shoulders left. Take my right leg off and bring his shoulders right. And push push him back around the other way. This is real shoulder control move. Bloody dude, I love him. I just love him.
Guy was saying he had some top reining horses here. He reckons there was $100,000 for a horse there the other day for their game. And they were all arena horses, top arena horses. He went out with him on this fella and he had to lead all the way. They wouldn't even go through the water.
He blows out of his turns a bit, I catch him and back him with bend. I want him not to come out clean. Sometimes he will rear and jump out of them. When I say rear, half a foot in the air. See, when he stops, he sort of runs his front feet in. That's what they want for reining.
Oh,
He's going to drag himself till he stops, this fella. When I change direction, I change him through his rib cage. And the more bends you've got on him, the happier he's travel, because he says, great, now all I've got to worry about, unless I ask him across the shoulders like this, he says, now all I've got to worry about is to pick up my right lead and travel on a circle to the right, whereas if I run him like this, too straight, and push him off like that, he's thinking, oh, you could be asking me to go left or right or backwards or forward. So the more lateral bends you put on him, the better. And the lateral work is what enables him to come up underneath like this, because he's driving his hind foot underneath him. I mean, all my horses do this, but this fella's doing it without half the work. You know, I get on that little dun fella and I got to drive his hip for 5 minutes just to free him up so he drives deeper, as this bloke is natural. This fella's very much like the quality of my Spinifex horse. That people, you know, within 5 rides, people thought he'd been ridden 6 months.
yeah. He seems to pick up on his leads all right then.
Oh, exactly, yeah. Yeah, he hasn't missed the lead since the second ride. That sort of stuff can hot him up, but it's not. Now, if you're going to ride him before you send him to Ian, I suggest you don't try and do too much of that unless you really understand it.
Yeah, no.
Because Ian will go and get what he's done, but certainly Ian could do 3 or 4 rides on him and place him on a cow as he's going.
Yeah.
Are you happy enough there as travelling?
Oh, yeah. I've just got to learn so much.
What's that?
I've got to learn so much. You know? That's why. Yeah.
You know, Ian will put a little more face on him, lifting up hand and that kind of thing. And I think Ian's fantastic, but I don't like to lift my hands at all because I think you lose the body. Whereas if you ride, I feel that if you ride like this, you're always riding the body up into your hands all the time, not pulling his head down. But Ian may not have to lift the rein on this fella because he does. He's just so natural at it. You don't look like you when you're riding, do you?
Oh, I've got my gene.
I'll go and grab him.
Yeah.